Hey folks, it's Matt once again, and welcome to another review. And this is a film that I've been wanting to review again. I think I reviewed this like 3 or 4 years ago, but I want to do another review because it deserves it. Because not many people, well, I shouldn't say that. There's a couple people who review this film, but I love this movie. It's my favorite Tom Hanks film, and this is when Tom Hanks was actually a comedic actor. Now, granted, I like his dramatic stuff. I do like Forrest Gump. I do enjoy Castaway. But I miss the comedy Tom Hanks. I enjoyed The Money Pit. Dragnet, I haven't seen in a long time. I have to give that another look, actually. I have it on DVD over there. But I have fun with The Money Pit. And I saw a bachelor party a long time ago, and I remember liking it okay. Joe vs. the Volcano, that's one that I never care for, and I've tried to get into it. Splash. You know what? I don't think I've actually ever seen Splash. I don't have that movie. I've never seen that one. I do remember Big. No, I don't have that one either. But I remember being fun as well. But I remember some of my favorite Tom Hanks comedies were being The Money Pit, especially The Burbs. This one, when I think of Tom Hanks, this one always comes to mind. Because it's a Joe Dante film he's made a lot of great movies. Inner Space, which I reviewed. Gremlins 1 and 2 are very fun flicks. Explorers, that's one of those films that it's aggravating in the fact that the first hour and such are fantastic. They're beautiful. But then the ending kills it. Doesn't kill enough that I hate the movie to death, and I still have the movie, but that ending is just really piss poor. That just... Uh, but I think he did one called Matinee, which, man, I haven't seen that film in forever. Is that on DVD? I think it is. It's a film with John Goodman, where John Goodman runs this... I think he runs a theater. He's showing these 50s movies. I think it takes place in the 50s, actually. I haven't seen it. Well, that's not what this review is about. But Small Soldiers, I remember liking okay. Even his Looney Tunes film, I remember liking okay. I remember not hating the film. Piranha, I liked okay. But definitely some of my favorite Joe Dante films would be Inner Space, the Gremlins films, and this film. I'll probably say this is my favorite Joe Dante film as well as my favorite Tom Hanks film. And what makes this film great is, first off, the cast. I mean, not only Tom Hanks, who he's on his A-game on this, but Bruce Dern, who it was fun to see a guy like that in this kind of fun comedy, dark humor, little bit of horror aspect. Carrie Fisher, because everyone always talks about her as Princess Leia. If I ever met Carrie Fisher, I would ask her about this. Because I thought she did a great job as Tom Hanks' wife. I believe her character name is Carol. I thought she did great. She worked well with Tom Hanks, and she was likable. She was perfectly fine. And you see this, you go, man, how come she didn't get more roles? I think she had, like, personal problems, but she was great. She's not just Star Wars. Like, to me, I would ask her about this. This guy here who played Art, Rick Dukeman, I know I always say his last name wrong, who unfortunately is no longer with us. He passed away, I believe, a few years ago. And I always enjoyed him as Art. He's sort of the more paranoid neighbor. He's sort of a good buddy of Tom Hanks. Of all of them, he's the one who's the most he's the most paranoid of the group. And even have Corey Feldman as a neighbor who's trying to paint, and he's a younger guy. He's sort of have that surfer attitude. some part of me wonders if they saw this and then made him, hey, let's get him to voice Donatello in the first Ninja Turtles movie. Because this was '89 when this came out. There's even a scene where at the end there's a pizza truck and Corey Feldman goes, "Pizza dude!" They had to have seen this movie and go, yeah, get him to voice one of the Ninja Turtles. Especially when he said that line. But even you have a small cameo by Dick Miller and Robert Picardo, who's worked with Joe Dante a lot, as garbage men. And just a very fun cast. You have a wonderful score by Jerry Goldsmith, an underrated score because, you know, Jerry Goldsmith just has done, I miss the guy so much. So many of his scores are so memorable, from the Rambo films to Runaway, that's an underrated one. This is an underrated one. I mean, especially when it gets to the almost trying to go heroic, sort of a take on an Ennio Morricone, which I think one of the pieces of music is Ennio Morricone, but even at the end, when the house blows up and Tom Hanks is coming out and someone goes, there's something moving out there. And Tom Hanks is revealed. And yeah, that sort of heroic moment for Jerry Goldsmith's music. Da-da-down, da-down, bow down now. Ba da 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 ba da 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 da. And I know people were disappointed with the ending because spoilers. I should get to what the movie's about. It's Tom Hanks, and what's going on is, sorry if you're wondering, my camera froze for a bit, so if I'm talking weird, that's why. Sorry about that. But as I was saying, Tom Hanks, he's a normal guy, which actually, a very nice guy here, Jack Craven, was actually, since I don't have a region-free Blu-ray player, and this does have a special edition Blu-ray overseas, he actually found for me the Workprint and some of the features, the hour-long making of, and the Workprint of the film, so I could take a look at it. And I know in the original cut, it was supposed to be that Tom Hanks' character had been fired. He didn't have a job. But I don't know, maybe they thought it'd be too sad or too depressing, or I don't know why. But I think it worked fine that in this film, he's just on vacation. But you can kind of tell when you know that now that in the Workprint he was fired, that you can kind of understand maybe some of the tension between him and Carrie Fisher's character. But I think it worked fine that he was just on vacation. And he's just a normal guy who's really leading a typical boring life. I mean, the most excitement is him looking out and one guy's dog cracked on the other guy's lawn. I mean, or the newspaper kid hits him and he throws his coffee at the paper boy. And these new neighbors called the Klopeks move in. There are three of them. One is the actor Henry Gibson, I believe his name is the name. One is Courtney Gains, who was in the original Children of the Corn, and the other, I believe the actor's name is Brother Theodore. And they're very strange, they're weird, and they're like, some people don't like the ending because the neighbors are paranoid and think they're up to something, and that they're evil or a murderous cult. And then you're kind of thinking, oh, well, the neighbors were wrong, and that there was going to be this big message of we shouldn't judge people, we need to be more PC, and we're judging people, we're judging foreign people because they're different. But then you find out, oh, they actually are murderers, because there's a big fucking thing of skulls and bones in their trunk. But see, if that film was done nowadays, that is the direction they were going. And you would see that coming a mile away. If they made this film today, which I would not be surprised if one day there's a remake of this announced, they would go that route. Because, come on, we gotta be PC. We can't say that because someone's different that they're bad. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, that's not always the case. But that's sometimes the case. Yeah, that's not always the case. But sometimes the wolf in sheep's clothing is actually a wolf as well. So, I mean, the door swings both ways on that. And there's a quote coming up that I want to make sure. It is a great quote from Tom Hanks, which we'll get to, I'll mention. But anyway, getting back to... I'm trying to think of where to talk about first in this. First, the neighbors in this are a very eclectic group. And part of me feels, man, I wouldn't mind being in this neighborhood. You have Corey Feldman come out, rocking music and this cool song, "The Dead War Machine." Yeah, Bruce Dern with a hot wife, putting up the American flag. You got Tom Hanks, you got Rick Dukeman's character Art, who has to shoot these crows and he misses and shoots this fake owl. And I think one thing I like about this, not only is the great score by Jerry Goldsmith, the great cast, but it has a fun sense of humor to it. And I guess the way I looked at the film as a normal guy entering a horror movie. There's a normal guy who, kind of against his will, enters a horror movie. You know, he's a normal guy in a normal neighborhood, which has by the way, the opening of the film is great, where it's on the globe. Camera goes right into the globe of the Earth, right into on top the neighborhood and moving around, and I'm like, it's a really cool shot. It's like, wow, how'd they do that? And I think most of this film is shot on the Universal lot, and it never leaves the neighborhood, by the way. Usually in films they would leave and we'd be at the police station, we'd be at the library, we'd be at the club, we'd be at the 7-Eleven, we'd be at somewhere else. But it never leaves the neighborhood, which I thought was a good idea because it keeps it within that entire realm of that neighborhood. You're not taken out of it, you're with this group of people. And what I was saying, right from the beginning when Tom Hanks is out late at night, there's the Klopek's house, which is this house, that fucked up house. He takes one step, this big wind is blowing in his face like it would in a horror movie. He takes one step back out, it's normal. And no, I don't mean literally step into a horror movie like Last Action Hero. I'm just talking about figuratively speaking, not literally. But it's like he's being sort of pulled into a horror movie. And that's how I looked at it. That's how I could rewatch it. That's why I'm glad it wasn't well, these guys were wrong the whole time and they're just assholes. For me, it would not have rewatchability. It'd just be, okay, that's for PC reasons. Okay, I like the way it is better. And it's nice to see Tom Hanks is just a normal guy. I mean, this poster really tells a lot about the film. It really does. And just his interaction with Carrie Fisher, where Tom Hanks is like, no, I'm going to drink a couple hundred beers. And, I need this, Carol. I need this. I just want to be lazy. I just want to hang around the house. And then the Art character comes by and putting these ideas into Tom Hanks' head that maybe they're the neighbors from hell. No one goes in, no one comes out, no deliveries. What do you think they're eating over there? Then the Rick Dukeman's character and Tom Hanks' kid are talking about how he's seen that there were 3 people and they were digging, and him and Art are both eating at the same time, and it just has I don't know how to describe the vibe with the film. I guess you could say dark humor, but at the same time, when they say the dark humor, it's not mean-spirited, as maybe some dark humor films are. I don't know how else to explain that part of it. it's just, there's a lot of scenes that pop in my head as I'm doing this. For example, when Tom Hanks and Rick Dukeman, they see Courtney Gains walk out and the whole neighborhood's looking at him. And Tom Hanks says, hey, why don't you go say hi? So, well, Art pretty much says to Tom Hanks, why don't you go say hi? And Tom Hanks says, you can say hi too. Yeah, but you share property line. Well, I mean, we're all on the same block. And Rick Dukeman was like, on the same block, but you're right next door. I mean, he could go to you if that's for sure. And well, you don't be. Oh, you better do something, Ray. Tom Hanks' character. You better do something, Ray. He's about to leave in. See, look, you chicken. See, you're a chicken in front of your own son. Chicken in front of your own son. And then Tom Hanks drags him over. It's like, fine, you go in there, are you chicken? I was like, okay, fine, let's go. And they walk towards it, and then Joe Dante does this. I think that piece of music isn't in your Morricone piece of music. I don't know which. And as they walk up to this house, they give these close-ups of all these people. So like Corey Feldman, and the camera closes into his eyes like this. And then Tom Hanks' kid, and Bruce Dern, and his wife, and this other neighbor, character's named Walter. And even the fucking dog, it goes up to the dog's eyes like any Morricone Western. And then they go up, and when they least another, they get attacked by bees. And just some of the physical stuff that Tom Hanks does. Not only his dialogue, but some of the physical stuff. Like him trying to get the bees out, or later on when he's getting pissed, and he just takes a beer can, just looks. Or there's a moment where he's walking, and Carrie Fisher actually accidentally hits him on the door, and he takes a beer can. And Carrie Fisher goes, "Are you feeling better?" And then Tom Hanks like, but or even later on when they go over to the Klopek's house inside to meet with them, and they kind of give him to eat sardines and pretzels, and he eats it. Then a little bit later, he's like sneezing. It just tastes newspaper. Just, that means physical timing, dialogue. He was a really funny guy, and I miss that Tom Hanks. But that Tom Hanks is pretty much long gone. Because he doesn't do those, and he never talks about these films. I'm sure if he talked about this film, he would talk shit about it. I would guess on that. It's just too bad. And it also has some nice scenes that aren't just for comedy aspect, but just for character aspect. Like when Tom Hanks, Rick Dukeman, and Corey Feldman are hanging out at night. And I always like this dialogue where Corey Feldman goes, green sky at morning, neighbor take warning. And then Tom Hanks asks, green sky at night? Corey Feldman goes, neighbor take flight. And also the aspect where I talked about how it seems like this normal guy stepped into a horror movie. You have Corey Feldman mention a movie, The Sentinel, about a gateway to hell. And then later on, when Tom Hanks is watching TV, he flips the TV on one, it's The Exorcist. And then he flips the channel, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. So, there weren't that many movies in '89 that were referencing other movies like that. I mean, nowadays that's commonplace, but in '89 that wasn't typical. I mean, I think in the making of, which Corey Feldman's on it, he talks about how this film was ahead of its time, and I can buy that. I think that's why this does have a cult following nowadays. And I know I'm not alone in loving this movie. But getting back to that scene I was talking about, you have Rick Dukeman's character tell this story, and I thought this is almost like a campfire story. Like if you see a slasher film, it would be a campfire, but here it's just them walking and talking, where he tells about the story about this soda fountain guy named Skip, and how his house started stinking up, and that was his family who had killed with ice pick. And I thought Rick Dukeman did a good job telling the story. And then Corey Feldman scares Tom Hanks and makes Tom Hanks go back to watch Jeopardy with his wife, Carrie Fisher. And Corey Feldman's character is a lot of fun because it's almost as if he's, again, the aspect where I talk about it's like a normal guy stepping into a horror movie, and Corey Feldman is watching it all. Like, he tells his girlfriend's like, hey, why don't we go see a movie? Go see a movie? That stuff's fake. This is real. This is my neighborhood. He gets some chairs. A lot of times he's just watching, and even at the end, he invites his buddies to go watch, as if it was a movie playing out for them. And you have the scene where Tom Hanks, Rick Dukeman, and Bruce Dern have this infrared scope, and they're watching. And then the sound gets louder and louder and louder, and then huge flames are coming out of the basement of the Clopex. And Courtney Gains drives out, puts this garbage in, and just literally violently manhandles the garbage. And even Tom Hanks says, I've never seen that. I've never seen a guy, deal with his garbage like that. It's pretty strange. It is pretty strange. And later on sees them digging in the rain. And that's where the next day you get the garbage guys, Dick Miller, Robert Picardo. And again, I don't know why, there's simple stuff makes me laugh in this movie. Like when he's fighting with Carrie Fisher, and then his kid tells him about how his buddies are talking to the garbage men. And Tommy just goes, what? And he runs off, and Carrie Fisher's like, come back here. And Tommy's like, just one, I'll be, yeah. And then, they find nothing in the garbage, but I don't know, just certain things about it, just that sort of weird. It's a weird vibe, but it doesn't turn me off like certain David Lynch movies. Like David Lynch, sometimes that stuff goes too far for my liking. This goes far enough for my liking. I don't know if that's the best way to put it. And then they find out that their neighbor Walter is missing. One funny thing is they're knocking on the door, and Corey Feldman goes, I see someone in there. And then Bruce Dern opens the door. And Tommy's like, how'd you get in there? And then you realize Bruce Dern cut the window. A soldier's way saves the day. And then they walk in and figure out that the TV's on and that Walter left in a hurry. What happened to their neighbor? I like that Rick Dukeman has his plate of, I think, like cookies. And then Corey Feldman just opens the door and accidentally breaks it. That always makes me laugh. And just a bunch of other stuff. I mean, the chanting, where Tom Hanks is trying to blot Art Rick Dukeman. And he's like, Ray, you're chanting. You're chanting. I want to kill everyone. Satan is good. Satan is our pal. Ray, you're chanting. Once they get in here, it's over, pal. It just makes me laugh. I miss Rick Dukeman. Rick Dukeman as Art, this guy, he's one of those guys that you would always see in bit parts in big movies. He's a sewer worker guy that was told to cut the power of the building. And Gremlins 2, he was the guy he was the security guy that found Zach Galligan and brought him up to one of the offices. And The Last Boy Scout, he was the guy when Bruce Willis and David Wayans, their car lands to his swimming pool. It's Rick Dukeman's swimming pool. So again, he was always the guy that you see in a lot of these tiny parts in these big movies. But he never really got many big parts. And this film did not flop. I mean, people say it flopped. From what I understand, this film cost $18 million and made $36 million in the U.S. alone. And this was like a February release or something like that. I don't know, maybe, I guess they thought it was going to be a bigger hit, but when you cost 18, you made 36. I don't really see how that's a flop, but again, I don't know how that all works. And I have to think this film rented a lot. This was one of those big video movies. Maybe not. I don't know. But that's where it leads to Tom Hanks watching TV, seeing The Exorcist and Chainsaw 2, and he has that dream. Which, I mean, before I get into more, some differences in the word print. There's a couple scenes. In the trailer, you'll see that there's a barbecue scene where he's pretty much talking while trying to mess with the barbecue. Like I said, there's the notion that Tom Hanks' character was fired. He's not just taking a vacation. I know there's the alternate ending where it's pretty much the same, but it's instead of the action of the ambulance. Well, I should get to that when I get to the ending. In this scene, there's some differences. I don't think when Tom Hanks is looking, the chainsaw goes through and almost hits him. I don't think that's in the work print, which I like that moment in the theater. I like the theatrical version better because in the work print there's this moment which I thought looked kind of stupid. When Tom Hanks sees his family and himself and he's running, as he's running, the thing gets longer and longer. And it just really did seem like Tom Hanks was running in place. It just didn't look right, and then Tom Hanks is running. And then when you see Carrie Fisher talking, hey, Ray, glad you invited everyone to a barbecue. There's like a longer shot where she's on top of the long line of stairs. And maybe that would have been fine, but it looked a little fake. But, you know, maybe with some sprucing up, it would have been fine. But I'm fine with the way, where in his dream, he's on this big barbecue, and the brother Theodore, he's like, what do you say? This is something like, you mind your own business. And Tom's like, okay. And this is what I'm talking about, the sense of humor. It cuts right to him watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Oh, this beautiful day, won't you be my neighbor? And then you even have Rick Dukeman and Bruce Dern acting like kids. Please, Carol, can he come out? And Terry Fisher's like the mom. No, you know, he's going to stay here. He's going to stay in his room until he resembles the man I married. And then Bruce Dern and Rick walk away as if they're kids and they're like scuffing their feet. It's really like as if they're back to being 10, 12 years old again. And I didn't catch that until now. Till watching it now. I didn't catch that. And that's where you get that Rick Dukeman and Bruce Dern had actually thrown a note, and they tell Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks gets pissed. They don't think it's me. No, they don't think it's you. Yeah, because, yeah, they are. You want to know why? Because Walter had a dog that he's going to keep at his place until he knows what happened to Walter. He writes a note, and Tom Hanks explains, well, I wrote a note to Walter, and I put it in, and oh, you did, huh? I didn't know that. And just the physicalness of Tom Hanks' performance. And when he gets pissed, crushing cans and yelling. So now they're going to think that I did it. And pretty much his own dog brings up a femur bone. That's where you get this scene here, where, you know, even Art goes, what, you think this came out of a chicken? Where'd he get this? And they go up, and Ray, this is Walter. And they scream, and the camera goes back and forth. Just a lot of stuff makes me laugh. It's hard to do reviews for comedies. That's why I don't review a lot of comedies, because it's hard to review and explain what makes you laugh. I mean, I would love to do a review where I just show, this made me laugh, here's a clip. This made me laugh, this is a clip, but I can't because of copyright. But that's where most of them are forced by their wives to go to the Clopex, and that's where Bruce Dern trips and, oh, there's, what was it? Oh, there goes the goddamn brownies. And they go in, they meet the three Clopex, and they're talking, and that's where Art is sneaking around. He gets attacked by a dog. He almost runs over Tom Hanks' character. And later on, Tom Hanks meets with Bruce Dern and Rick Dukeman and shows him this wig. The wig of their neighbor, which he had put into Walter's house, but now the Clopex have. And that's where you get another piece of that great score by Jerry Goldsmith. And Tom Hanks saying, nobody knocks off an old man in my neighborhood and gets away with it. So while the Klopeks are away, Bruce Dern dons all this military gear. They go to cut the power, and I like Tom Hanks going, why don't you go up there? And Bruce Dern's like, it's very high. And Tom Hanks like looking at his military gear, like, what are you talking about? And Rick Dickman fries, and oh my, look at my fingernails. They're all black. Tom Hanks, and well, of course, you have this scene where they go over, and Brewster's like, Red Rover, let Ray go over. Or the scene where after digging, they decide to break in, and Tom Hanks tries to use his credit card, and it breaks on him, and so he just takes it and fucking smashes it. By this time, Corey Feldman had brought his friends together, and he yells, Yo, Rumsfeld! Bruce Dern's tearing, Yo, Rumsfeld! And Bruce Dern trips and falls and shoots his gun and shoots his own damn car window out. And Tom Hanks, Rick Dickman goes to the basement, they're digging, and then on the outside, Walter is alive. And they say, oh shit, you gotta get out of there, there's a problem. And everyone gets out except Tom Hanks, and the thing blows up. And that's where you get that scene where Tom Hanks walks out and just stumbles on the stairs and just completely fucked up. Now, from what I understand, I know there's a couple endings thought of. One was that the Klopeks, one of them would drive away with Tom Hanks in the ambulance, and Tom Hanks' character would die. I don't think that was ever filmed. An alternate ending was pretty much, it goes with the Henry Gibson character ready to attack him with a needle, and then everyone opens the door and they see he's there, and then he explains really on the nose, which I thought was stupid. I'm glad they didn't use it where, you know, we thought the city was tough, but you know, the suburbs, you know, you get treated like a criminal just because of this. It was really on the nose, like, hey, do you get it? I like the way they have in the movie, and Tom Hanks does say a great quote. You know, remember what you were saying about people in the burbs, Art? People like Skip, people mow their lawn for the 800 chime, and then snap! Well, that's us. It's not them. It's us. We're the ones who are vaulting over the fences and peeking in through people's windows. We're the ones who are throwing garbage in the street and lighting fires. We're the ones who are acting suspicious and paranoid, Art. We're the lunatics. Us. It's not them. It's us. Great speech, and then Rick Dickman is like, I don't know what to say. What? You want me to move? They get a little struggle, and the way the movie ends is that, you know, he accepts that he's wrong, and then Henry Gibson fucks up. He's like, you think you got all the others fooled, but you don't have me fooled. I have the others fooled? What? You saw one of my skulls in the furnace, didn't you? And Tommy's like, well, I saw your furnace, and he didn't actually look in the furnace, but he saw the outside of the furnace. And in this ending, the ambulance is driving, and it crashes into a building, and they fall out of the gurney, and then they find all the bones in the trunk, which I don't think was in the alternate ending. I like this ending more. I like this ending the best. And Bruce Dern sees Courtney Gains. Hey, Pinocchio, where are you going? And trips up Courtney Gains, grabs him. And again, I think some people don't like the ending because it gives that, oh, well, they were different, and lo and behold, they were some. I get that, but at the same time, I prefer this ending because it helps rewatchability. And I guess I just look at it at a different angle. Like I said, it's like a normal guy stepping into a horror movie. You know, someone said it best, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean that they're not after you. Sometimes you're wrong, but sometimes you're right as well. I think that, again, I think if they went with any other ending, it wouldn't have the same rewatchability factor, at least in my opinion. And even at the end, I mean, it's sort of like a Western walk-off where the bandaged up Tom Hanks is with Carrie Fisher, and he's going to go to the lake with his family. It goes by Corey Feldman and goes, why don't you keep an eye on the neighborhood for me, huh? And Corey Feldman says, okay, Mr. Peterson. And Tom Hanks gives him a wink and like goes off like the Wild West hero. I just love this movie. It's great horror, a little bit of, well, comedy with a little bit of horror, dark humor, however you want to call it. Great bunch of actors and characters. Wonderful score by Jerry Goldsmith. Jesus, I always forget this is PG. I don't know if you can see that, but this is a PG movie? And this is 89. I never knew this was PG. Maybe they fucked up, and they might have fucked up on the DVD and it is PG-13. But, I don't really have anything bad to say about this movie. It's my all-time favorite Tom Hanks film. I love his character, Ray Peterson. Rick Dukeman, may he rest in peace. Bruce Dern, it was nice to see him. He's usually much more serious or dramatic roles. Nice to see him having fun in a comedy. I thought Corey Feldman fit fine in the role, and just a lot of great memorable moments. You know, the Ennio Morricone moment, the this is Walter moment, the dream sequence, the the finale, just great comedy. I still say underrated. I mean, it has a cult following. I would still put this in an underrated category because no one talks about the Burbs. Well, I shouldn't say no one, but I think more people should talk about the Burbs. I mean, I'd rather watch the Burbs than anything these guys have done the past 10 years. That's just my opinion. The Burbs is a film I can rewatch and put a smile on my face. But either way, thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you in the next review. Later.